स्वं बोधमात्रं परिशुद्धतत्त्वं विज्ञाय संघे नृपवच्च सैन्ये तदात्मनैवात्मनि सर्वदा स्थितो विलापय ब्रह्मणि विश्वजातम्।
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल अरुणाचल शिव 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 अरुणाचल यस्यान्तन्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नामगोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो नानुपुंसं न च स्त्रीं नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वर्षिष्ठान्तेव सदृशिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय यतये शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्गपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततम् पूर्णाय बोधात्मने अपार सच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यांशहस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। हितमिदमुपदेशमाद्रियन्तां विहितनिरस्तसमस्तचित्तदोषाः भवसुखविरताः प्रशान्तचित्ताः श्रुतिरसिका यतयो मुमुक्षवो ये संसाराध्वनितापभानुकिरणप्रोद्भूतदाहव्यथाखिन्नानां जलकाङ्क्षया मरुभुवि भ्रान्त्या परिभ्राम्यताम् अत्यासन्नसुधाम्बुधिं सुखकरं ब्रह्माद्वयं दर्शयन्ति एषा शङ्करभारती विजयते Nirvana Sandayini. 30 சொல்லிருக்குமா? 31 சொல்லலையே. இல்லை, 30 தான் இதில் நம்பர். ஒன்றில் 31 இருக்கு. So, as the part of our Swadhyaya Yajnam, every day we are taking some verses from Vivekachudamani and contemplating on them. Yesterday we finished the first portion, that is the prerequisites, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Vivekam, Vairagyam, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhanam, Mumukshutvam, Tidiksha, Mumukshutvam. All these we have already finished, prerequisites. So, after finishing them, Shankaracharya said, the most important things, 2 things in spiritual pursuit. We give too much importance to understanding, intellectual understanding. But Bhagavad-pada says, Vairagyam cha mumukshutvam. These are the 2 things. Vairagyam cha mumukshutvam tīvram yasyatu vidyate. One who has intense dispassion and intense longing for liberation. We have to understand longing for liberation. Also he defined later on. It is, first you have just a vague longing because you have suffered so much. So many births you have suffered. We will ask how Vairagyam came to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. He was only 16 years old. Or Shankaracharya, he was only 8 years old. So how Vairagyam came to them? This is the data is there inside. So many births of getting suffering. So that collection is there inside. So collectively it exploded. So actually Bhagavan's death experience is the explosion of Vairagyam. Inside that he inquired. Because the last vestige is body, and you come to see that it is going to die, and you behold death in front. And the inquiry finished it off. Formerly in Mountain Path there was an article, I took one sentence from that. Bhagavan dealt a death blow to death. So death is revealing to you that you cannot hold to anything. So when Vairagyam is intense, and Mumukshutvam can happen in Bhakti Marga as just love for God. Bhakti. Now Bhakti Shankaracharya is going to define here later in a different way. So Bhakti, in Bhakti Marga you have that intense longing to realize God. There also naturally you will leave everything else. In Jnana Marga, you see this side there is suffering, and on the other side there is an intuitive faith which we call Shraddha, which is telling you there is liberation. You can get free. So this is the beginning. And later on, after lot of enquiry, you understand right from the ego. We start from ego and end in the body. In a slokam, ahankara adi deha antan bandhan. This much only is bandha, not these outside things. This is only extension. Bandha is begins from your first identity with the ego. When you sleep, no bandha, deep sleep. When you wake up, first thing that happens is this I thought arises. And then you get connected with the mind, with the intellect, with the senses, with the body. And with your house, your belongings, it comes later on. So the first adhyasa is this ahankara. Prathama vikaro bhavati ahankaraha. So this ahankara is the root cause, the first thing. And it makes you identify with everything else. There Bhagavan caught hold of the virus of samsara. So ahankara adi deha anta. Deha is nothing but ahankara only. So when you know what is this ahankara, this aham vritti, this ego, which makes you suffer, when you see that it is unreal, in the sense it no more rules your body, senses, mind, then the person becomes free. So that freedom, the person is longing. So almost he has got that thing. This is what happens in Bhagavan's life. Yesterday we also spoke about it, that he started from the body and ended in the ego. First the body was cremated, then the mind was cremated, then the I thought was cremated. Then he woke up in the ashes of his dead self. Arunachala is dancing as I, it is the dance of Nataraja in Smashana. It's a Smashana Rudra, like that. So, that is mumukshutvam. So, vairagyam cha mumukshutvam. If there is intense dispassion and intense longing for liberation, then only all other qualities, all other good qualities. Now also in Gita we spoke about a big list of good qualities. We were doing the Parayanam. Abhayam, amanitvam. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantihi, arjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, sthiryam, atmavinigraha, indriyarteshu vairagyam, anahankare evacha, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, doshanu, darshanam. Asaktihi, anabhishvangaha, putradara grihatishu, nityam cha samachittatvam, ishtanishtopapatishu, maicha ananya yogena bhaktihi, avyabhicharini, vivikta desha sevitvam, aratir janasamsati, adhyatma jnana nityatvam, tattva jnanartha darshanam, etat jnanamiti proktam, ajnanam yatatonyatha. List. Big list. All these qualities are when the person becomes free of the ego. The beginning is amanitva, unassuming. So all these things come from that. All these things become meaningful only when the person is a spiritual seeker, otherwise not. So the most important thing is the person should be a spiritual seeker. Spiritual seeker means for him liberation is needed. Freedom from birth, death. Freedom from this abhimana, body identity. And attainment of jnanam. Then only these qualifications are meaningful. Then Shankaracharya added, Etayor mandata yatra viraktatva mumukshayo. If vairagyam and mumukshutvam are manda, manda means dull, not much. If I get realization, okay. That's all. Dispassion, one Swamiji, very sweet Swami. He was a very good Swami. We asked, Swami, how did you become a sannyasi? He said, I was a school teacher. And I was unmarried. And I had no desires much. I came to Ramakrishna Mat. And the Swamiji said, will you like to become a sannyasi here? I said, okay. And he had a very good sannyasa life, very light, Even his spiritual decision was so simple. He said, okay, it is good. And he was a very good sannyasi who wrote so much commentaries on Upanishads, Gita, Brahma Sutra. I was very close with him. Brahma Sutra, everything. And his sannyasa was like this. Very affectionate Swami. So sometimes this is Ishwara Kripa. What to say? It's all grace, pure grace. So Vairagya is hidden there. That is why, otherwise, you want to give up, but so much attachment. These problems were not there with him. It was so easy. So, etayor mandata yatra viraktatva mumukshayo. Vairagya and mumukshutvam is intense. Marau salilavat. Another Swamiji also now is Shivananda Ashram president. Swami Yogaswaruparanji. He also very sweetly, very beautifully said. I was having conversation with him. He said, you know how I came to spiritual life? I had a very strange idea about spiritual life. I thought these Pandavas, they went to Himalayas and directly walked to heaven. So I wanted to walk like them. So from Chennai, I came to Rishikesh, and when I got down railway station, there is no Himalayas there. Then they said, if you want to go to Himalayas, you have to go along. Then I had no idea where I will stay. So I heard about Shivananda Ashram. Okay, one of my known person was there. So I inquired about him and went there. But he was not there at that time. So Swami Krishnanandaji was there. He said, okay, you wash, take a bath and come and you can eat. Then I took food. Then I wanted to pay. And Shivananda said, no payment. You stay here. Anyway you have come, you stay here for 10 days at least. Okay. You know typewriting and shorthand? I say, yes, I know. So help me in some spiritual books. So after 2-3 days, Swami Krishnanandaji told him, you are doing good work and you have come with a good resolve from good family. Why don't you stay here? He said, no. After 10 days I have to go back. And then he told me that 10 days are still not over. He is almost nearing 90 now. Still not over. So, sometimes Ishvara's grace, it brings you to spiritual life in a very light way. They are all really fortunate. They have so much purva punya. That is what we say. Not much difficulty. They have purva punya. Prak punyachala margadarshita sudhamurti. As in Shankaracharya says about Shivananda Lahari in the one verse he says, Prak punyachalam. The punya, the virtue, the merits of good actions, they are like a big, huge hill, Himalaya. Because of that, they get Bhagavan like a nectarine doll. Sudhamurti. Very sweet, very easy spiritual life. So, anyway. So, why? But generally, yesterday we were talking about this because all these qualifications, sadhanas are told. It is like for a young seeker who comes to spiritual life with longing for liberation and he is doing sadhanas, for him all these qualifications are told. So what will we old people do? We will just listen. Not that. We can, because we have, many of us have been in this path for so many years, so many decades, So, but it is all, at least now we will, many people tell that when you speak about titiksha, endurance, we understand that is the only thing for certain problems in life, solution for certain problems in life. So, it also gives help to us. So, etayor mandata, when vairagyam and mumukshutvam are not sufficient, then nothing else will help. Even if the person appears to have all other qualities, it is like water seen in a mirage. So this we saw. Now, we are going to listen. Shravana. The Shishya is going to approach the master. And from Shravana comes Manana Nididhyasana. Constant recollection. That is very important, Not simply, read a book, good book, I have read it. No, not like that. It should possess you. Spiritual, Bhagavan tells about Arunachala. It is not that you come to Arunachala, do Vangiri Pradakshina and go. No. He says, like a ghost possessing a person, Arunachala, you have possessed me. Peitanam vida, vidapeyai pidit, vidapey, a ghost which will not leave you. Like that is this contemplation on the divine. It doesn't need your body, it possesses your mind. The mind is samsara and the mind is mukti. When the mind is thinking about worldly things, worldly problems, it is samsara. When the mind is constantly contemplating on the divine, it is liberation. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayo. When the mind is thinking about worldly things, it is bondage. When the mind is constantly contemplating on the divine, it is liberation. So, now Shankaracharya is going to tell something which all the bhaktas will love. The first portion at least, where he says, Vivekachudamani, this Vedantic work, he is putting a bombshell. Because this is Jnana Grantha, where he says, Moksha Karana Samagryam Bhakti Reva Gariyasi Swaswarupānusandhānam Bhakti-ritya bhidhiyate. First line of this shloka is, all bhaktas will feel very happy because he says moksha karana samagri. Samagri means instruments or whatever materials or stuff, what you should use for that. Ingredients upaya, method. Here samagri means methods. So amongst the methods employed for liberation, bhakti is the supreme. Bhakti reva gariyasi. So that is what we are also saying. But the second line, he defines bhakti. He says, Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhaktirityabhidiyate. Swaswarupa anusandhanam is bhakti. To contemplate on one's real nature, Swarupa, constantly, that is bhakti. That is, even Bhagavata says this. In Bhagavata, which is Bhakti Grantha, it says, Nityanubhuda Nijalabha. It says, Nityanubhuda, Atma is always experienced. That is what Vedanta says. Bhagavan very often repeats that. It is already there. You are already experiencing it. It is ever attained. What are you searching? It is your own real nature. So it is experienced as I am. Everyone is experiencing their own existence. Very existence is divine. It is like what Vedanta calls a gooseberry hidden in your palm. Hastamalaka. In Tamil we call it Kayyinil Kani. Kayyinil Kani. And Bhagavan adds to it. He says in Ramanacharanatirtha, Arunachala, you are like a fruit in palm. Kayyinil Kani un mei rasam. Mei rasam means the rasam of your nature. That inundation, lahari. Mei rasam kondu uvahai verikola arul Arunachala. Let me get ecstatic by drinking your rasa. So although the fruit is there in my hand, I am not tasting it. I am keeping it in my hand for so many births. So the Atma is always aparoksham, immediate, directly experienced by all as their very being. Now, pay attention to it. Tad buddhayaha, tad atmanaha, tannishtaha, tad parayanaha. Turning the intellect towards that. Let the intellect be convinced about it. Let the mind contemplate, brood over that. And all the senses, whatever it brings in, let the intellect tell the name and form, whatever it might be, it is all Atma. So the intellect, the mind, the senses are all trained to see that oneness. And tatparayana, burning the boats. All other engagements, because you want to do business, you cannot see the customer as Atma. That is how Tukaram failed. Because somebody will come, they also knew his weakness. So they will come, so much difficulty, no money with us. He will say, it is all yours, you take. How can one run business like that? So, yasya nas swaha parayiti. Bhagavata says, the highest bhakta is Atma Jnani, where for him everyone is Atma, so he never considered this is mine and this belongs to another person. Vitteshu, money also. Atmaniva, his own body. Swaha parayiti vitteshu atmanivabhita sarvabhuta samashanta. Savai Bhagavatottama. He is Supreme Bhagavata. So, this is sannyasa actually. This is sannyasa. So, it doesn't work in the world. Running both together is very difficult. That is why tatparayana. Can everyone do that? It is difficult. Yes, it is difficult. That is why, generally what is said is, you have a jnanam for your own inner protection, and while you live in the world, have dharma. Jnanasya tattvam dharmam cha. If these two are there, the person can run the show, but it is not full. When the jnanam becomes full, it will burn the ajnanam completely. So, okay, that much, we have only this much now we can do. So, this is compromise, diluted jnanam. But at least jnanam is there. So, moksha karana samagri. When you want liberation, swaswarupa jnanam you get from Guru. When you first read Bhagavan's books, people say there was a clarity, a recognition of something deep, the feeling of I, the current of aham within. Many have this kind of initiatory explosion. To constantly have that current within is bhakti, says Shankaracharya here. The constancy of that current, that dhara. Ajya, Bhagavan also defined bhakti like that. Ajya dharaya srotasa samam sarala chintanam viralataf param. Viralam means what? Interrupted. Saralam means what? Uninterrupted. Without any interruption, like you pour ghee from one vessel to another, it will flow like a stick. Like that, uninterrupted contemplation is bhakti. Constancy in Atma Dhyāna is bhakti. Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhakti rityabhidhiyate. Nityanubhuta nijalabha nivritta trishna shreyasi atadrachanaya chirasupta buddhehe. Abhayam atmalokam akyam namo bhagavate rishabhaya tasmai. Bhagavata, very beautiful shloka this is. About Rishabhadeva, this shloka comes where Bhagavata says, bhakti is very rare. Mukti you can get. This is one of the well-known verses in Bhagavatam which Bhaktas quote. But the bhakti after which Bhagavata defines bhakti is Atmanubhuti. It is not talking about bhakti where in the context of even Gopikas. It is talking about bhakti in the context of Rishabhadeva, who was avadhuta, who had no body awareness. He was moving about in the world unaware of his body. For about such a Jivan Mukta, here Bhagavata says this is very rare. Muktim dadati karhi chitsma na bhakti yogam. Bhagavan gives mukti but not bhakti. Means what? Mukti is atmakjnanam. Mukti means atmakjnanam. You need not go to Vedanta there. You can see Bhagavata itself. Bhagavata says, Muktir hitva anyatha bhavam swarupena avasthiti. This is the definition of Bhagavatam. It says mukti means what? Hitva anyatha bhavam. Give up the anyatha bhava, the otherness. And swarupena avasthiti, abiding as swarupa, is mukti. That recognition of Atma Swarupa is mukti. Then what is bhakti here? That Swarupa, you Atma ratireva syad, Atma triptashamanavaha, Atmanyeva cha santushtaha, tasya karyam na vidyate. Taking delight in Atma, joy in Atma, meditating on the self, constant inundation in that state. This is bhakti. So parabhakti, supreme bhakti. And wherever the bhakta looks, he is seeing his own Atma there. That is bhakti, supreme bhakti. Vyavaharatita bhakti. No vyavahara is possible. Ramakrishna used to say, you cannot make ornaments with pure gold. You have to mix, otherwise ornament cannot be made. So like that, with pure spirituality, Worldly vyavahara is impossible. So that is supreme anusandhana. Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhakti ritya vidiyate. And also adds next shloka. Swatmatatvanusandhanam bhaktiritya pare jaguhu. Directly taking the mind to Swaswarupa. It is samadhi, which Vivekachudamani later on developed. So, putting the mind, making the mind abide in Atma. Again and again, just like as Bhagavan puts it, a honeybee sitting in the flower and drinking honey. Like that, let the mind stay in the heart lotus and drink the honey of Atmanubhava, Shanti. So that is Swaswarupa Anusandhana. Just a little bit coming down. Shankaracharya says Swatma Tattva Anusandhana. If always you are not there, when you come down, you think about that. About the script. Now what we are doing, this. Even in informal talking, you talk only about the divine. Suptehe, mritehe kalam nayed vedanta chinte. When Bhagavatakara used to say, he used to practice that. If someone comes, he will take Bhagavatam or Narayaniam and read one chapter and speak about it. He will not even ask, when did you come, what is your name? No. You will directly open the book and read it. And many people after that, they will not come. Best way to drive out. So, you read some spiritual book, something. Vani gunanu kathane. Shravano kathayam. You know, if you don't put your mind there, they will start something. That will unnecessarily create ripples in the mind. So don't have these kind of conversations. So this is also bhakti. Idam hi pumsaha tapasa shrutasya va svishtasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayoho avichutorthaha kavibhir nirupito yaduttama shloka gunanu varnanam. This is one best way, spiritual practice, to hold you in a higher plane, not allowing you to come down. Because mostly you come down either by seeing or by hearing. If you can purify all these planes, you don't come down. Give not time for the mind to brood over worldly things. So, there, what do you do? Uttama shloka gunanu varnanam. Constantly speaking and thinking and reading about the divine. Somehow you keep the mind in a higher plane. From morning to night, Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam. This is the only work. That is also bhakti. So in between Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam, Swaswarupa Anusandhanam will happen. While reading the Vedanta Granthas, speaking about them, when you are alone, the mind will contemplate on that, and for few minutes it will meditate. It will get absorbed in the Chaitanyam, in the Chit. And when it again comes back to the plane of thinking, don't allow it to think about worldly things. Let it hear and analyze and feel the divine in one form or the other. Keep it in Vedanta Mandala or Bhakti Mandala or Yoga Mandala. Do not allow it to wander in the world. So, this is also Bhakti. Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam Bhaktihi iti apare jaguhu. Apare means some other teachers. That is also Bhakti. Swadhyaya pravachane eveti nako maudgalyaha tadhi tapaha. In Taittiriya Upanishad, an Acharya, Maudgalya Acharya, he says, Swadhyaya and Pravachana is tapas. They are speaking about many tapas, and there he says, this is one of the best tapas. Swadhyaya Pravachane eveti. By constantly reading authentic scriptures and meditating on them is also one form of tapas. So, Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam Bhakti Rityapare Jaguhu. Vidyaranya Swami in Panchadashi in one place says, first step is the moment you listen to your master Tattvamasi, Sadhyo Mukti, you recognize and abide. If you can do, you are free. Second is you listen and for clarity contemplate, do mananam and then meditate nididhyasanam and realize and abide. And if you cannot do that, then have Shastra Vichara. Constantly keeping your mind in reading, listening, reading, contemplation. And if you cannot do that, upasti, japa, bhagavad dhyana, rupa dhyana. Do that. And if you cannot do that, he says, krishim krishasva. Go and do some farming work or something. Go to IT company. Computer, something. Whatever you want. It means whatever you want, you can do. At least if you can stay. Say Arunachaleshwara temple, you are not going to the center. So the first prakaram. Formerly it was not crowded. So once in a while, whenever we used to go there were periods when we used to go every day morning. So when we go there, if some days it will be crowded, so we will not go inside. At least in the inner prakara, you do some pradakshana japa and come back. Sometimes you can do the outer prakara. So the outermost prakara, Kambatalayanar Sannidhi, Padala Lingam, at least you can stay there. If you come out, it is street. Wherever you can go anywhere. Like that, spiritual life also, the outermost wall is rituals. Your mind is not contemplating, no cooperation, no meditation, no good reading, nothing. But you are at least mechanically putting your body in a discipline. That is the first step. That is why generally we used to say, how should we do japa? Mind is wandering. Then the first advice is, when you sit for japam, give a whole world tour ticket to your mind. Let it wander, let it think, let it go anywhere. Tell that I will not wake up, I will not stand up from this seat till I finish. Non-cooperation movement with the mind. So let the mind do whatever. It cannot do anything. Let it think. Let it do anything. Ignore the mind. Let it think good or bad thoughts. Let any thought come. But I will do japa. And slowly this japa spandana will influence the mind. By the time you finish, the mind will be quiet. Or at least after some days it will become quiet. So this is possible. So the first thing is, without seeking any instantaneous fruit, you are ready for getting disciplined. The body, at least you put in a discipline. Then the next step is the mind also associates. Then contemplation. Then further you know. Then the innermost chamber is this Atmanishtha, Swarupanishtha. That slowly comes. So this is the highest bhakti, Swarupa Anusandhanam. Next is Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam. Reading the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. We speak about sannyasa, no? Vividisha sannyasa. Yesterday we spoke about it. Vividisha sannyasa means people who take sannyasa for attainment. They have not got it. Sometimes they will be with a vague faith, they come to sannyasa. Dispassion is there. And they come to spiritual path. And they have so much time. What will they do? So for them, this Swadhyaya and Japa are prescribed. Sannyasis, Pranava Japa, they have to do at least 12,000 Pranava Japa. And reading of the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. Some people, they have the discipline. Whole Gita, one day they will chant, every day. Whole Gita. And the Upanishads, Swadhyaya. So Japa, Swadhyaya and Tapaswadhyaya Nirata. Like that. So then slowly, when they get the Tattva, then Tattvanusandhanam, they slowly start analyzing, doing mananam, and once they catch hold of the method of inquiring into the heart, abiding in the heart, now all other things becomes lesser and lesser and lesser. Attention focused on only this meditation on the center, holding to the inner Chaitanya, Chit, Nididhyasa. Then no other things. So these are all general principles. We are telling that you should not imagine that you have already reached there. So even if you have reached there, you should have all these anushtanas so that it is a protection. It is a protection. So especially householders, family people, they need bhakti. They need the outer rituals. Everything are needed. So there will be moments when you will find it. We generally call them as spiritual summer, spiritual desert, where there is no rain, no coolness. You feel dry, you feel meaningless. Then there are two medicines that you have to take. One medicine is without expecting anything, just telling you, my Guru has told me to do this Anushtana, I will do. So the discipline, outer discipline you continue, and inwardly when you feel dry, you tell Bhagavan, I don't want anything. You will attain peace. Added to this desert, your desire also will trouble you otherwise. I am not attaining, I have not achieved, I have not got it. So take this tablet, you will attain peace. Outwardly, your tongue is chanting Bhagavan Nama. Inwardly you tell, I don't want anything. Desirelessness. Then you will attain Shanti, peace. And soon it will change, glide, one after the other. Sometimes so much of meditation suddenly will appear. And then you will think, oh, I have got it, and tomorrow it is not there. This is all very common. This phenomenon happen to every seeker. See, so all these things we are speaking. No? Every corner we have seen these things. So it can be spoken about. So this will be a help for sadhakas. So Swatma Tattva Anusandhan. Bhakti Ritya Pare Jaguhu. Some other acharyas, they say Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam is bhakti. Now, Ukta Sadhana Sampannaha तत्त्वजिज्ञासुरात्मनः उपसीदेत् गुरुं प्राज्ञम् यस्मात् बन्धविमोक्षणम् उक्त साधन संपन्नः. All these sadhanas, all these samagris, that sadhana chatushtaya, sampatti and bhakti, with all that, tattva jijñāsu, one tattvam jñātum ichcha tattva jijñāsa, the inquisitiveness, to know tattvam. Tattvam is atma. Bhagavan defines tattvam as tāne tāne tattvam. Atma is tattvam. So to know Atma Swarupa, that longing arises within. Tattva jijñāsuhu atmanaha tattva jijñāsu. Atma tattvam. The longing, thirst for knowing one's real nature, when it arises, upasidet, let him approach with all bhakti. It Shankaracharya further elaborates. Upasitet, upagachet, let him go to Guru, prajñam gurum. Let him approach a Guru. Yasmad bandha vimokshanam, from whom the person gets liberated. Bandha vimoksha. Before we go to this, we will see a little bit of Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami's commentary. Swaswarupānusandhānam nididhyasanam uchyate. Shravana and Manana is done, and nididhyasanam is Swaswarupānusandhānam. Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami, he was absorbed in that. So he says, that is nididhyasanam uchyate. Tasaiva sakshatkaram prati sakshat sadhanatvat. Says nididhyasanam is the sadhana, direct path to realization. Bhagavan calls Atma Vichara as direct path. And in letters from Ramanacharanatirtha, when somebody asks about nididhyasanam, Bhagavan says self-enquiry is nididhyasanam. It is direct nididhyasanam. So only who are qualified for that, it will work with them. So, Shrutyacharya upadeshena sa atma tattvamasiti shrutaha yo arthaha tava swarupam brahma tadeva tvam idi tad anusandhanam tad bhavanadhara vijadiya pratyaya तिरस्कृत सजातीय प्रत्यय प्रवाह रूपा साक्षात्कारे असाधारणम कारणमिति भावः. शमादीनां विचारद्वारक निदिध्यासनद्वारा कारणत्वं ज्ञाने अस्य तु साक्षादिव भावः. विजातीय प्रत्यय तिरस्कार. When you try to meditate on Atma, other things come. You are meditating on Atma. How it will work, your attention is turned towards the I thought and you search for the I thought. Sometimes, directly you will think about Elumbum ahantai elumidattai, from where the I thought arises. The Ulladinarpadu verse comes to your mind. It's a good thing. Suddenly, those who are doing Parayanam, they come to your mind. And suddenly you think that person, he has some trouble in his family. And it goes there. From there it goes to election, government, somewhere. After few minutes you completely forget. Where did you start? Who am I? And where did you end? A place where it is unconnected completely. This is Vijatiya Vritti. Sajatiya Vritti is constantly, the pravaha, the flow is towards Atma, Swaswarupa. And Vijatiya Vritti is directly opposed to this meditation. So without that, directly constant contemplation on the truth. Atayeva mokshasya karanam abhivyanjakam yajnanam tat samagriyam tat sadhana samudaya madhye bhaktireva gariyasi sakshat karanatvam tvad ityuktam. Hence, it is said bhakti is the supreme cause. Sacha samagri vivekadi nididhyasana anta. Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami says that bhakti begins from viveka and ends in nididhyasana. Till that it is bhakti. So whatever we spoke for all these days, vivekam, vairagyam, shamati, shatka sampatti, mumukshutvam, and nididhya, shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Till that it is all bhakti. This Vedanta Vichara is bhakti. This is bhakti. Aparesham matamaha. Some other people say Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam Bhaktirithyabhidiyate. It's continuing the definition of bhakti. Shankara quotes some other great writers. They say bhakti is Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam. But Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami differs. He says, Swatmanaha swasya jivasya tattvanusandhanam tasya bhavaha tattvam tatpadavachyartatvam paramatma tattvam ityartaha tasya anusandhanam vastavika bheda sattve api abhedena upasanam ahangrahopasanam iti yavat. Without any difference, although the person has not reached that, he is thinking about that. Tat bhakti riti apare jaguhu beda buddhi purassarayaha brantirupayaha asyaha mukhya bhaktitvam nasti iti suchitam. Here Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami says, as Shankaracharya has said, apare jaguhu. Some others are telling it is not directly his teaching opinion. So his teaching is directly contemplating on the self, not about that. That is secondary, that is told by others. But practically, you can add all those things also in your sadhana. Then, Ukta sadhana sampannaha tattva jiknyasuhu atmanaha upasidet gurum prajnam yasmad bangda vimokshanam. Swayathatmik jnana kamaha upasidet sharanam gachet. Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami says, you take refuge in such a guru. Upadeshakam prajnam prakrishta niratishaya nya avagatihi prajna brahma sakshatkaraha. Who is a prajna? Niratishaya nya. Nya means avagati, sakshatkara. One who has immense realization. To such a guru, brahmatmano shodhitayoho ekabhava avagahini nirvikalpacha chinmatra vrittihi prajneti kathyate sustira sa bhavedyasya sthita prajnasya uchyate. The vritti, the current of identity between Brahman and this I, what is experienced here as I am, is that supreme infinite truth. This identity, contemplation, the current is prajna. And one who has that constant is sthita prajna. So, such a guru, tena swasya yasya adya yasmad yadrishad guroho sakashad bandha vimokshanam bandhasya ajnana kalpitasya ahankaradi dehandasya vimokshanam visheshena parityagaha tadrisha gurupasadane tad upadesha janyasva yathatmya jnanena bandha nivritti rupa mokshaha siddhyati. When a person takes refuge at this master, listens to him, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya, go to him, surrender to him and listen, meditate and realize. You have to contemplate, meditate and realize. And this is Mukhya Bhakti. Service also, true service to Guru is to obey him, to listen to him, meditate and realize. Have that anubhuti with you. So that is, let him do that, says Shankaracharya, that here starts the real true spiritual life. Now, continuing this, Shankaracharya is giving the sign of a guru who is expected in Vedanta Shastra. Many gurus are there, no? Even first standard school teacher is also a guru. One who teaches you music is also a guru. One who teaches you dance is also a guru. One who teaches you Sanskrit is also a guru. So that is different. So here, the guru is one who helps you to go beyond bondage, one who lifts you from samsara. Janma, jara, marana, prabandha, chakra, brahmana, krita, ayasa, dukkodati, plavabhutaha guruhu. Vedaranyaka Upanishad Bhashyam, where Shankaracharya says, Janma, Jara, Marana, birth, old age, death. It's like a chakra, again and again and again. Such dukkhas are many in this samsara samudra. And in that ocean, Guru is like a ship which makes you cross. Plavabhutaha Guru, one who makes you transcend that. So, about such a master, Acharya, Bhagavan Bhashyakara is further elaborating. We will just read that and stop. Shrotriyo vrajino akamahataha yaha brahma viduttamaha brahmani uparata shantaha nirindhana ivanalaha shrotriyah avrajinah akamahataha yaha brahma viduttamaha brahmani uparatah shantaha nirindhana ivanalaha ahaitukadaya sindhu bandhuranamatam satam. This we will elaborate tomorrow. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.